We are here to celebrate, and celebrations are always important. We are always happy when we can celebrate. But every year when we have the International Human Rights Day, we should also ask ourselves, shall we celebrate or we shall have a more sober reflection? I believe the one cannot go without the other, particularly in these difficult times we live in, made by the COVID-19. We should be proud of our human rights achievement, but we need also to reflect on what it has stake. And a special thanks goes to Minister Chomich for having organized this event. My first thought will be on the impact of COVID on our freedom and liberties. Around the world, the fight against pandemic has led to a series of measures that have impacted our individual freedoms and liberties. In emerging circumstances, international human rights law allows limitation of certain human rights. However, we have to keep in mind that these measures should be necessary, should be proportionate, should be temporary, should be non-discriminatory. The fight against the pandemic should not be used as an excuse to restrict basic human rights, democratic and civic space, rule of law, nor can be used to neglect those who are vulnerable. My second point will be on the actors in this fight against COVID and in protection of human rights. The first one goes, of course, to authorities, and certainly I welcome the participation of the Prime Minister today and the Speaker of the Parliament and so many members of the government. And also I would like to pay tribute to Serbia for having created a dedicated ministry for human rights. In my meeting with the Minister, I was reassured of our continued cooperation and importance of EU-Serbia cooperation in the human rights agenda. Media has also an important role in fighting the pandemics. Media are our window to the world, and sometimes they are only source of information. So freedom of expression, freedom of media, and access to information in these circumstances is essential, and restriction to journalists should not jeopardize the works of journalists, media workers. At the same time, it's important that media provide the audience, the people, with credible, fact-checked, reliable information necessary to protect health and lives, inform about problems that need to be addressed, and measures that need to be taken in order to solve problems. In this battle, we need also to remind ourselves those who has no voice, the forgotten, the vulnerable, the people, the elderly, children, women victims of domestic violence, people who carry disabilities, LGBT communities, people living with disease, homeless people, people in social welfare centers, refugees, migrants, the Roma population, IDP, people in prison, and other marginalized group. Their position is already difficult every day, but in this crisis time, with the introduction of restrictive measures, it can become their life even more challenging. So therefore, a special attention should be paid to their needs and provide necessary assistance.